Before we wrap up our mid-season review, just quickly, what were your highest of highs and lowest of lows from the first half of this season? Anna, do you want to start?
Yeah, so I was thinking about this, my peak and pit. Disclaimer, not WSL, because there's nothing about West Ham that I feel excited about. But I think Wales qualifying for the Euros is just such buzz. I'm so happy for them. And then to draw them in our group as well. That was really good. Pitt, probably Mark Skinner, Jim Ratcliffe, all the United stuff, just this big dark cloud over the vibes of the WSL. Like, stop being horrible.
It felt like Mark Skinner was finally going to start being in trouble, and then the worst man in the world bought Man United. And, you know, to have a manager who seems to be quite apathetic about the his own women's team, to be supported by an owner who...
So publicly as well.
So publicly.
Yeah.
It's infuriating.
It's just so disrespectful to a bunch of
I
professional
can't imagine
football
how it
players.
must feel for them, yeah.
I mean...
So... yeah, deflating.
It's just disgusting, and there should be a level of. I mean, I'm not sure why I'm surprised by Manchester United, but there should be a level of owners have to set out their plans for the men's and the women's team. If you're going to come in, you're buying a club. You are not buying a men's team with like some women who play on the side attached. Like, put your focus and your attentions onto both of the clubs. Anyway,
yeah, I agree. Well, my pit was very easy. It was travelling all the way to Munich to watch us get battered by Bayern Munich. That was kind of awful.
I somehow knew you were going to choose that.
Listen, if you'll insist on doing a mad one and going to a Champions League game in the middle of the week, I don't think, against someone who used to play for Chelsea, like, what did you think was going to happen?
Well, do you know what? She looked so bad in the first half, and I said to my girlfriend, that's so weird. Like, Pernilla Harder just looks so off, and then she must have heard me, because then she scored a hat-trick in the second half. It was awful.
I do find that the players you talk shit about are always the ones who then go and do something. I always used to try and, like, not that she would ever be able to hear me from the stands, but, like, game Frank Kirby into doing things for England games. So, Frank Kirby needs to come off, and then guarantee within 5 minutes she'll score. Like, yeah, okay, it's worked again.
I'd rather have it that way round. And then my peak, I'm not going to be petty and say my peak was Jonas leaving Arsenal.
Be petty.
But I have to say it was Jonas leaving Arsenal.
I think many people would agree with you there, to be honest. I think the only people that wouldn't were like everyone who enjoyed making the TikToks about Jonas. My this is something that we've all started with. Well, you and I both started with Pits, but
mine was scarring, honestly.
Oh, not as scarring as mine, which was the 1-0 loss to Everton.
Oh yeah,
for the penalty that was, what was it, 3 foot, 4 foot outside the box?
Yeah, that was bad.
I actually knew you were going to pick this as well.
Well, I mean, how could I not? It was like
okay, you two have quite clear. Grim.
We're just emotional girlies. What can I say?
We just hold grudges and don't ever stop talking about things. I think is what the issue is.
That was awful. I felt for you. I did feel for you.
It was. I mean, I'm sure we'll come on to it at some point in the podcast. The state of refereeing in the WSL. It's a conversation that has been had over and over and over again.
When the ref blew the whistle, she was outside of the box. Like, what?
We are very lucky that we were not doing a podcast at the time, because I would have spent 40 minutes just raging about that. Calling for the heads of every single referee on that game.
Watch out, referees, don't make any more mistakes the rest of the season.
Yeah, I will be on a one-woman tirade. My highlight of the season is kind of more general than it is about like one specific moment, but it has, I think, been Crystal Palace. I think Crystal Palace have been really exciting to watch. I said earlier that obviously you look at their position on the table, bottom of the table, you think probably at risk of relegation. But seeing a team who's come up and been competitive and tried to play games and tried to like get results in a way that they want to play, I think has been a really promising sign.